Hi everyone, I'm Tom. Today I'm going to be playing Nimbee, which is a nice little game where we play as bees, roaming around a hive, trying to impress the queen with the best flowers. So we've got it all set up here. You've got a random selection from this deck of 12 cards around the outside of the board. Some will be flower cards and some will be action cards that we might be able to get. And there is a special path end card. There's basically a 50-50 chance in the first round at least of it being a really, really good one or quite a bad one, -7 points. But in this case, it's 14 points. So the way a round works is, first the queen bee moves, always the first in the round, and at the beginning of the game, she goes to this space here. Now, you cannot go into a space with the queen bee. There's some exceptions to that, but usually you can't do that. So now it's my turn. I'm playing a two-player game, I should mention, against Little Glass Marty. You have two options. So you can walk, you can move one space clockwise into an occupied space. That's walking. Or you can fly and move to the next unoccupied space. So you would move around everybody if there was a load of bees in one big place. So I can fly on my first turn, fly to the next unoccupied space, which is the swap space. And I've got two choices here. I can either swap positions with the queen bee and take the action that she was on, or I can swap my position on the turn order track and take another turn later this round. I think I'm going to swap with the queen bee to start with. I'll swap with her and go on here, which is +1 honeypot. So I take one of these, I have two spaces for there, and I can use this honeypot either when I'm moving for an extra movement, an extra, action, do either of the things, or later on when it comes to taking cards, I can spend these to, usually you have to take the first card, the furthest away from the path end card. I would have to take this card, but I could spend a honeypot to maybe take this card instead, which is more points. So it's Marty's turn now, and he has the option of, you can go into the hive on either of these spaces. So he can go and get honeypot 2, but he is going to fly, I think. He's going to go to the next unoccupied space. This is the queen bee space, and there's two things you can do here, but you can only really do one at the moment. He takes the rear card, which is this one, and he can place it on his player board it says the range of numbers and where they start off at. And this is now a queen bee flower card, and he can spend this in the same way he can spend honeypots. He can spend this to have 2 extra movement points or take the card 2 further along in the future. New round, the queen moves to the next empty space. And it's my turn again. So I can either go to this queen bee space and take the 9 card and give me +3. Or do I wait and try to get it? Try to get it with the when I go to the meadow. I could try and wait because I can either go on the queen bee space or I can jump all the way ahead and go onto the swap space. Oh, but I would actually fly there. Maybe I can skip ahead of Marty. Yeah, I'm gonna go here, and let's try having another turn later. We flip this over to show that I can't adjust the turn order again this round. But yeah, let's try that. So Marty, he just needs to fly, so he can fly to here, and he can swap with the queen bee. Yeah, he's going to swap with the queen bee and get a honeypot for himself. My turn in the same round, so I really have to just walk here, don't I? First, anyway. So I will take the 9 card and put it here, and that gives me a +3 later on. And now I can either get a honeypot, or I could spend my honeypot to get another one. I think I'm going to save it for now, though. Okay, so a new round. Queen bee moves there. Now Marty could go there, fly to the next unoccupied space, and then swap with the queen bee. I think that would be good. He's going to swap with the queen bee and then take the queen bee action. He can either upgrade this, promote it to be +3, or he could have this action card. He's going to do that. For the rest of the game now, he can share the space with the queen bee. My turn. I could get some points. I could spend this so I get an extra movement this turn. And then I can go 1, flies me to the next unoccupied space, and I get a honeypot back. And then I can fly over everybody into the meadow and pick up 5 points. New round, the queen bee goes over there, and the meadow always counts as occupied, so you can just walk into there. And that's what Marty's going to do, I think. He might spend his card. I think he's going to spend his card. He's going to go into the meadow, and he's going to spend his card for +2. And this can let him, instead of having to take the last card, he can go 2 cards forward and grab this 6 instead of the 4. But everything he skipped past goes away and kind of accelerates us towards the end of the game. Now it's my turn, and I think I am just going to go on here. I think I might spend my honey pot so I can have 2 movements again. I'm going to come on here and swap with the queen, get a honey pot back, and then I'm going to fly to the next unoccupied space, which is this one here, and I can grab this, which I can use when I want an extra turn. I think I'm going to hang on to it for now. Marty can either come in and get this honeypot, or he can fly. Oh, actually, he can go here if he wants to. But he'd just get an extra turn, wouldn't he? I think he's just going to go, he's going to fly over everybody and get a honeypot over there. So he's got 2 now, that's his maximum. Okay, the queen moves to that honeypot, and Marty, I think he's going to move in here and swap with the queen. So he goes there and gets a honeypot, so he's got 2 now. I think I'm just going to walk into the next occupied space, and I'm going to get my second honeypot because I don't really want to go into that space. The queen moves again. And Marty, see, we want to kind of race and get that 6 more than anything else. Marty is going to fly to the next unoccupied space, and he is going to adjust the turn order. So he can have 2 goes. So now, if I fly, Marty can fly over me and win. Well, not win, get to the meadow and get that 6. So he might have been better off swapping with the queen. I don't know. I'm going to spend a honeypot to give myself an extra movement point. And so I can fly with my first here. And, oh no. Oh, I'm kind of denying myself the 6. Because this is going to happen now. I can't promote this any further. It's at +3. So that goes there as a +2. And I could use my busy bee to have another turn, go into the meadow. I can actually spend my 3 now to go 1, 2, 3 and grab the 14 and win that round. And so that is what Nimbee is like, essentially. You can play multiple rounds until the path end cards run out. And, it'd obviously change it up when you have the minus card instead of the 14 because you're trying to avoid getting to the end then rather than rush to it. And, the queen would stay in the same place. You'd deal cards out again. There are more cards than this as well, as well as obviously more numbers. There are more action cards like the nectar detector would double all flower cards that you've got that are worth between 2 and 5 points. So that could be huge. The high version, normally you have to go into the meadow, but this would let you just go around the hive again instead if you really don't want one. That would be especially good if the path end card was a -7. Honey Grabber would let you take a honey pot from another player and put it on your own player board if you've got space, because obviously you can only keep 2 of them. But that's essentially what the game is like. I hope that gives you a good idea. If you'd like to know what I think of the game, then you can click the little box on the screen here. But thank you very much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you for the next game. Bye.